Democrats, beware. They are slow rolling you. And I warned about this. The story about Hunter Biden and Joe Biden is being released very slowly to catch you in a trap. And it's working. Already, I have a ton of people commenting on the previous stories about Joe and Hunter Biden's and the email scandal. I have people commenting saying, oh, well, I can explain it with this, that, and this. Joe was not involved. I mean, this is all on Hunter Biden. Here it is. Source on alleged Hunter Biden email. Verifies message about Chinese investment firm. Sources have told Fox News, quote, the big guy is a reference to the former vice president. Two big things here. Not only is it now confirmed from multiple sources that the emails found in the laptop are legitimate, but that Joe Biden himself, according to this report from Fox News, assuming they don't retract it later, confirms Joe Biden was using his son, or I should say, Joe Biden's son was holding equity in Joe Biden's name. Essentially, I got to be very careful on language here. It would seem that Joe Biden uses his son as an intermediary so that when he does these business dealings, Joe can profit from it and then say, that's just my son. Question. Why did Joe Biden fly Hunter Biden on Air Force Two to China for a private equity deal? Why should Hunter Biden be allowed to profit off of U.S. taxpayer money? You want to have a conversation about Donald Trump and his family? Sure, I get it. We're talking about Biden. I know maybe I'm just biased, but let me tell you, I've had a lot of people respond. So let me slow down. They're commenting on all these stories I've posted saying, well, Joe Biden's not involved. Hunter Biden's the one who did it. Then this story drops. Turns out Joe Biden's involved. The emails are legitimate. All of your excuses are BS. And say, well, Trump is profiting too. And Trump is a shill. Maybe. Sure. Joe Biden's been in office for 47 years. Trump, 4. We can complain about what Trump has done and what he's not doing. It's only been 4. It's not even been a full 4 years yet. So we can have a conversation about it. But Joe Biden, 47 years. And it appears that he made himself wealthy through public funds. I mean, think about it. Middle class working Scranton Joe is now worth millions of dollars. And his son was getting paid $83,000 from the board of Burisma. Seems to be that it's all confirmed. And I'll tell you this. Like I warned you, Democrats, they're slow rolling you. You know what's going to happen next? Keep talking. Keep talking. Because more emails are going to come out. More photos are going to come out. And then what are you going to say? Oops, there's no excuse. They've got you trapped. And Giuliani says 10 days before the election, they're going to publish evidence on Joe Biden. Maybe it'll be a big nothing burger, but I'm telling you right now, we've already got it. So I don't know what else they could possibly have, but let me just break it down for you. Sources have told Fox News, quote, the big guy is a reference to the former vice president. In emails, they say that Hunter Biden was going to be holding equity for, quote, the big guy. Holding equity for him. Did Joe Biden know about this? Okay, maybe that's their next excuse. The next excuse is going to be, well, that's just, Hunter Biden trying to take care of his family. Joe didn't know anything about it. What's the next email? Joe Biden saying, make sure they hold equity for me. I would not be surprised. Well, of course, the response now that we're getting from the establishment media is that Rudy Giuliani is a drunkard, that he's a victim of Russian intelligence operation. And now the feds are investigating whether or not this is an intelligence operation from a foreign adversary and not Joe Biden himself. Isn't this enough to say Joe Biden should be under very serious investigation? Yes. Will he? No, because the crony establishment is protecting itself. I think Trump is bad for a lot of reasons, but he is not part of the crony establishment. Here's a story from Fox News. One of the people on an explosive email thread allegedly involving Hunter Biden has corroborated the veracity of the messages, which appear to outline a payout for former Vice President Joe Biden as part of a deal with a Chinese energy firm. One email dated May 13th, 2017, and obtained by Fox News, includes a discussion of remuneration packages for 6 people in a business deal with a Chinese energy firm. The email appeared to identify Hunter Biden as chair, vice chair, depending on agreement with CEFC, in an apparent reference to now bankrupt CEFC China Energy Co. The email includes a note that, quote, Hunter has some office expectations he will elaborate. A proposed equity split references 20 for H and 10 held by H for the big guy, with no further details. Fox News spoke to one of the people who was copied on the email who confirmed its authenticity. Sources told Fox News that the big guy is a reference to the former vice president. The New York Post initially published the emails and other controversial messages that Fox News has also obtained. The Biden's relationship with Ukraine came under special attention last year as House Democrats pursued an impeachment inquiry surrounding President Trump's now infamous July 25th call with Ukraine's president. In it, Trump asked President Volodymyr Zelensky to investigate the former vice president, who is suspected of abusing his authority to pressure the government into firing its top prosecutor. This is a corruption scandal, the likes of which we may not have seen in our history. It seems that Joe Biden and the rest of the Democrats tried to impeach Donald Trump because he was close to exposing their racket. Look, if we've got an email confirming this, if Joe Biden flew his son on Air Force Two to China for a private equity deal, that alone is Joe Biden setting up his family to make money with his power in government. What gives him that right? By all means, comment about Trump all day and night. That's fine. I'm not saying Trump's perfect. We're here to talk about the career crony establishment that has been in power for decades, including Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and Nadler. And I'll tell you what, McConnell and Lindsey Graham right up there. Don't like any of them. I don't like any of the crony establishment. And the Republicans, what did they do? When Donald Trump got into office, we saw these rhinos run full speed to the Democratic Party because that's the establishment. And now they're worried. And some of these establishment players are still stuck in the Senate. And that's why even though Donald Trump won in 2016 and the Republicans controlled everything, they got nothing done because they're all in on the game. Every single one of them. What's that? I don't like Republicans either. Oh, wow. Surprise, surprise. I never have. I've said it for years. I don't like Republicans. I don't like Democrats either. Well, now I'll tell you what we got. We got Donald Trump, who is a bull rampaging through the ivory tower. I'm going to let him do it. I mean, him pulling troops out of the Middle East, you know I was going to bring it up. Hey, I'll take it. Not perfect on foreign policy, but whatever, man. You think Joe Biden? Why would I want to empower the establishment? Why would anybody? Y'all are crazy. Let's read a little bit more. They say, another email from May 2014 shows Vadim Pizarski, an advisor to Burisma's board, allegedly shows him asking for the younger Biden's advice on how to stop politically motivated actions. We urgently need your advice on how you could use your influence to convey a message, signal, etc., to stop what we consider to be politically motivated actions, it reads. And less than a year later, a purported email from Pizarski shows him thanking Hunter Biden for an invitation to meet his father and spend time together. Biden's campaign has denied wrongdoing and claimed the former vice president's schedule showed no meeting taking place. Though Politico later clarified the campaign would not rule out the possibility that the former vice president had an informal interaction with Pizarski. The campaign has also said it has released the former vice president's tax documents and returns, which do not reflect any involvement with Chinese investments. Let me one up you, baby. Release Hunter Biden's tax documents and returns, financial disclosure. I want to see what Hunter Biden's got. What's that? Donald Trump, you say again? Okay, yeah, absolutely. Trump should release his tax returns. I'm not defending him on that stuff. And Don Jr. and Ivanka, sure, throw it all out there. I don't care. Now, Donald Trump claims he's being audited. That's a point, I guess. But if Hunter Biden is now being implicated in this, and a source is saying that this email is Joe Biden getting equity, what's Hunter getting? How much of that is in his father's name? I mean, it's really, really clever if you think about it. Actually, no, I'm sorry. It's not clever at all. It's obvious. If you are in office, you can't make money. What do? You create a nonprofit. Yeah. Let's say there was a politician and they wanted to make a bunch of money from foreign interests. So they start a nonprofit and then they say, oh, it's a nonprofit. There's no, but we're going to take donations. And then maybe this politician was working for, I don't know, the Obama administration. Let's just hypothetically throw out a name, Clinton, the Clinton Foundation. This is what's going on, huh? It's a racket. They get into office. They use their power of office to make money. That's it. For all of Donald Trump's problems, he's losing money on this. His net worth is in decline. Maybe his family's making money off of their access and connections. Sure, I don't like that either. Guess what? After this era is over, I'll vote for somebody else. But guess what? Joe Biden, Schumer, Pelosi, the establishment, how many decades do we have to sit here? How much do you have to be smacked in the face over and over again? You know they're doing this. And so somebody said to me, Tim, Trump is bad. Okay. 47 years is greater than 4. So you know what? I'll take my chances with Trump. The Biden campaign spokesman, Andrew Bates, added, investigations by the press during impeachment and even by 2 Republican-led Senate committees whose work was decried as not legitimate and political by a GOP colleague have all reached the same conclusion, that Joe Biden carried out official U.S. policy toward Ukraine and engaged in no wrongdoing. Trump administration officials have attested to these facts under oath. Fine. Then what about the Chinese equity arrangement? Well, Joe Biden lashes out because he got asked about it. How dare a journalist ask this question? The emails are public. The laptop is confirmed, is my understanding. The emails are now confirmed. Multiple sources confirm the authenticity of the communications and Joe Biden's involvement. So, of course, Joe Biden's going to be mad when he actually gets called out. A CBS reporter said, what's your response to the New York Post story about your son? Joe Biden went off. It's a smear campaign. I knew you would ask that. Oh, just smearing me. Blah, blah, blah. What's the matter, Joe Biden? You're running for president. You can't stand the heat. Get out of the kitchen. Here's the story. The New York Post reports, Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden was finally asked about the explosive New York Post report that alleges emails show his son made millions trading on his father's influence. His response? I have no response. And for not being asked about the growing controversy surrounding Hunter Biden at the ABC News town hall by George Stephanopoulos, the former vice president spoke to reporters outside his private jet Friday following his campaign events in Michigan. And when he was approached about the subject by CBS News reporter Bo Erickson, Biden went after the journalist. Mr. Biden, what is your response to the New York Post story about your son? I know you'd ask it. I have no response. It's another smear campaign right up your alley. Those are the questions you always ask. You kidding me? It's a legitimate question. It's a major story. It's been a week now where this story has continually grown because, like I said, they're slow rolling it. You knew you were going to be asked. Your response should say it's a smear campaign. I deny it. I disavow. Guess what? Joe Biden did not. Joe Biden did not deny it. He did not disavow it. That says a lot to me. It does. When Donald Trump was asked about his tax returns, what did he say? I deny this. It's wrong. Straight up. Trump could have said, I don't respond to any of this. When Trump was asked for like the 800th time to denounce white supremacy on his town hall, he said, of course, okay, fine. He denounced it. Because Donald Trump said, okay, it's annoying, but fine. Joe Biden refuses to answer these questions, and he's directly implicated. I wonder why. The Biden 2020 presidential campaign previously responded to the Post story on Wednesday, saying the former vice president carried out official U.S. policy towards Ukraine and engaged in no wrongdoing, and that Trump administration officials have attested to these facts under oath. The Post obtained a 2015 email indicating that Vadim Pizarski, an advisor, we know all this, but let me add something. When Trump administration officials and the Republicans put together this report, did they have access to these emails? They didn't. Oh, so maybe new evidence has come to light suggesting that Joe Biden was engaged in wrongdoing? Oh, okay. So please don't cite old reports when new evidence comes out. That's what they do, though. When Tucker Carlson had on this Wuhan, it was a Hong Kong professor making claims about the coronavirus. On Instagram, Tucker Carlson got flagged for fake news. So I clicked it. I'm like, oh, they fact checked this already? Sure. It showed old stories having nothing to do with Tucker Carlson's whistleblower. That's what they do. Right now, they are using old news based on old information to try and debunk new evidence. Now, Joe Biden, look, I'm sorry, man. At this point, I don't care what y'all think. I think Joe Biden's guilty. I thought he's guilty for a long time. Well, I hope you're ready. To me, this is just classic textwork Soviet-Russian tradecraft, says former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper. Oh, I love it. Soviet. Let me give you a little history lesson. I think how old was I when the Soviet Union collapsed? There's no Soviets. I'm sorry. That's not a thing anymore. Russian. I love how he had to throw in Soviet, but he's saying it's Russian. Authorities are investigating if recently published emails are tied to a Russian disinformation effort targeting Biden. Oh, just stop. I am so sick and tired of the fake news. Russia, over and over again. It never ends. Now that we have the emails, now that the emails are confirmed, now that the authenticity of the laptop is confirmed, there's also reports that Hunter Biden's lawyer was trying to get the laptop. I haven't confirmed that, though, but there's reports that are coming out. Now that all of this has happened, they're like, well, we're going to investigate Russia. Isn't their desperation becoming obvious? This needs to stop. And the only way it stops is if Trump wins. Check this out. Oh, so this is the Bo Erickson thing where Joe Biden goes after the journalist. Bo Erickson says, I asked Joe Biden, what is your response to the New York Post story about your son? He called it a smear campaign and said, I know you'd ask it. Those are the questions you always ask. Bo Erickson of CBS News just quoted Joe Biden. That's it. He didn't tweet. In this tweet, he's not saying, how dare he? I'm a journalist. He didn't. Then we get Neera Tanden. Vote early. She's AmProg, Center for American Progress. Maybe this says more about you than him. Okay. That's what we get, huh? The Democrats are corrupt. The Republicans are corrupt. Trump? Yeah, maybe corrupt too. Maybe not. Trump was the reason why I say maybe not, and Trump gets more benefit of the doubt, as far as I'm concerned, is that he's already rich. Like, he didn't need to become president to make money. It just doesn't make sense. He's losing his net worth on this. Even his kids, he owns an insane amount of properties. Oh, but he's in debt. It's mortgages, man. These people are insane. So they talk about Trump, but Trump was losing money. You wanted him to. He's giving up his salary. When Trump got elected, they were like, well, he should be making money in office. So he lost $50 million, paid millions in taxes. It was more than his liability because he lost money. And he told the IRS to hold it for future payments. Look, I'm not here to defend Donald Trump. I don't care. I don't. I hate the entire establishment. But Trump clearly is not a part of whatever this dirty game is. He might have his own dirty games, sure. But I'll tell you what, I've seen it with Clinton, seen it with Obama, seen it with Bush, seen it with Clinton again. And it's always the same throughout my entire life. Trump is the unfortunately, the only avatar, I guess, available for the anger Americans feel about what's going on with the establishment politics. Right now, this is what we're getting. When we know that there's something fishy here, we can't even get a legitimate investigation into it. Russiagate bore no fruit. Ukrainegate bore no fruit against Trump. In fact, it's bearing fruit against Joe Biden. So how is it that Trump does a phone call, one phone call, where he says, I saw this video about, Joe Biden. I want you to look into that for me. And they try to impeach him for it. Sounds to me like they were worried Trump was coming after them, that their mafioso type organized crime is in danger and Trump's treading too close. Feds investigating if alleged Hunter Biden emails connected to a foreign intelligence operation report. Two people familiar with the matter told NBC News Thursday night. The FBI took the laptop and a hard drive through a grand jury subpoena that was later published by the New York Post, a conservative newspaper. I love how they do that. A conservative newspaper. They're really trying to discredit the New York Post. Isn't that amazing? The FBI declined to comment to The Hill on the reported probe, citing its standard practice of not confirming or denying an investigation. The New York Post published these stories. As we understand, they face criticism. We get it. Hunter Biden's attorney, George Meseres, said in a statement to NBC News that we have no idea where this came from and certainly cannot credit anything that Rudy Giuliani provided to the New York Post. But what I do know for certain is that this purported meeting never happened. Biden campaign spokesperson Andy Bates told NBC News the New York paper never asked the Biden campaign about the critical elements of the story. He said the campaign has looked at Joe Biden's official schedules and no meeting, as alleged by the New York Post, ever took place. Why would it? You see how this makes no sense? Do you think when someone's committing a crime, like, let me ask you, let's imagine someone's going to go buy drugs. And so they pull out their pocketbook and they're like, 6 p.m. meeting with drug dealer. And then they go and they meet with the drug dealer. You think that's a normal thing that happens? No. If this dude was going to be working on some kind of illegal, corrupt project to make some cash for himself in his son's name, why would he write down on his official schedule who he was meeting with? That's stupid. I'll tell you what they'd do. They'd go to a Ruth's Chris's, or however you pronounce it, Ruth's Chris steakhouse. And then, is that what it is? Whatever. They'd sit down, and the guy would be in a booth right next to them. And then he'd slide over. They'd sign some papers or shake some hands. He'd slink away. And that's it. They're doing something illegal. They're not going to write it down. Are you nuts? They certainly never raised that Rudy Giuliani, whose discredited conspiracy theories and alliance with figures connected to Russian intelligence have been widely reported. I'll tell you what. You know what makes me believe this story more than anything else? That a story came out recently saying Rudy Giuliani is a drunkard. That's it. I saw that and I was like, okay, that's it. It's true. It's all true. Look, I'm not saying it's definitive proof, but I am saying if they're that desperate to come out and claim Giuliani is a drunkard, they're trying really, really hard to smear the guy. Rudy Giuliani, America's mayor, huh? Mayor during 9/11. He's a guy who took down the mob in New York City. And I actually got a story here. Giuliani, Hunter Biden emails prove family has been selling Joe's office to the highest bidder. This is racketeering case that went on for 30 years. Trump attorney tells the story. What reason do I have to doubt Rudy Giuliani right now? Never been a big fan of the guy. I don't know. I'm not saying I don't like him. I'm saying I don't know anything about him. I mean, I was a kid during 9/11 and all that stuff. And I've known there's been, some very serious criticisms about him and his policies. No, I don't care for any politician. But right now, he's got emails. Several sources have confirmed this. You put out a story saying he's a drunkard. That to me says you have no response. That's the best they could muster. I tell you, man, the bureaucratic state is a better way to describe what people call the deep state. These officials who get appointed, who get hired, and then are unelected and stay in government forever. They work in these intelligence agencies and they go after their enemies, desperate to preserve their power and to maintain the status quo in their system. And I love how willingly progressives go along with it. I don't agree with a lot of Trump's policy positions. I think he's done a bad job in a lot of areas. I think he's done good enough things to where I'm like, okay, fine, I'll vote for the guy. But I tell you what, the most important thing for me is keep the establishment out. They're on their last breath. Don't let them back in. Hillary Clinton's donations to the Clinton Foundation dried up after she lost. So what do you think? It seems like it's right in front of us. Give Trump 4 more years. Let the establishment wither. But Bernie Sanders is corrupt too, so I don't know what the progressives are going for. But I guess I'm curious as to whether or not this will actually change anything. Trump might still lose. People really hate the guy, and that would be. This is I don't know how to describe it. I guess the last stand we have as people who believe in freedom. That for all his faults, Trump is the last line of defense from the crony establishment getting back in, suppressing your rights, shutting down your country, shutting down your economy, arresting you for running your business. That's what they've been doing. Don't let them back in. You see what they do. You know what they'll do next. They'll just make more money. They'll sell us out. They will enrich themselves off of public service. So I put it this way. If I'm told Trump's corrupt and I'm told Biden is corrupt and there is this propaganda war, I think to myself, okay, well, I'll tell you what, Joe Biden for 47 years, Trump for 4 years. I'll assume they're both corrupt. I don't care. I'll tell you something else. If I had to make a choice between the guy who got rich from public office or the guy who's losing money from public office, I'm going to choose the guy who's losing money. I'm going to choose the guy who is losing money to get elected over the guy who wants to get elected to make money. You see how that works? It's not perfect. It's hard to know who's right. But I don't like the idea that these working class Joes get into politics and then become millionaires. So I guess I'll leave it there. I'm not sure anything's going to come of this, and I'm not sure anyone's going to change their mind, but we'll wait and see. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you all then.